Hey yo guys, time for another edition of In the Squared Circle with Dadirrtywhyteboi. I am here as usual for the weekly edition of the news. Now some of this news may be a week or so old, but it's still kind of fresh. But first, before we begin, last night I was at a Bret Hart book signing and I got this book, his recent release, Hitman, My Real Life in the Cartoon of Wrestling. So far, it's a very, very good book. I got to meet the man in person, which was a huge honor. And I got my book signed, which is pretty cool, and I'll show it to you in a sec once I get the page going here. Yep, Bret the Hitman Hart. That's pretty cool. That was a lifelong dream come true. But anyways, time for the weekend news. First off, TNA Wrestling. Two big pieces from them. First off, Senshi, yesterday, he was released by TNA Wrestling as Dixie Carter was letting anyone who wanted out of their contract from TNA, they were granted it. So Senshi left the company after a very long time. He'd been wanting to get out of TNA. He'd probably been wanting to get out probably since, I would say, June, July, when after TNA would not let Conan put him in LAX, which would have worked very well, as it has worked in the Ring of Honor promotion, the Jersey All Pro promotion. But, you know, they didn't decide to do that, so, hey, best of luck to Senshi. He'll most than likely go back to Ring of Honor and do the indie scenes, and that'll be good for him. I don't see him going to WWE. But, you know, hopefully he does well in his future endeavors. And next, the reason that Scott Hall missed the TNA Turning Point pay-per-view was he claimed he had food poisoning. Now, granted, I'm not Scott Hall. I don't know if he had the food poisoning or not, but, dude, I don't know what they could have done. I mean, the way that Joe made Joe bury him verbally on the mic seemed that he held them up for money or something. And it wouldn't surprise me. That's how Hall's been in the past. Next, more news. The Hogan family, wow, they can't get a break right now. I mean, come on. First of all, Linda and Hulk are through the divorce now, where apparently if the divorce happens, Nick will be living with Linda. Hulk says that Nick is old enough to make the decisions on his own, where he wants to live with Hulk in Miami or with Linda in Los Angeles. And Brooke, if the divorce happens, will live on her own somewhere. I don't know where. And I have a feeling the reason that Linda and Nick would be together because they could go speed racing. Oh, how cute would that be? And sad news from last week. Former professional wrestler Dave Shelton, who competed as the Angel of Death, passed away at 43. Sad, another guy dead before 50. Shelton, who was trained by Red Bastien and Rick Bassman in California, with the class that included Steve Borden, who is Sting, Jim the Insane Warrior Hellwig, Brian Crush Adams, Steve DeSilvo, and Daryl Peterson. Shelton competed all over North America, most notably in Bill Watts' UWF promotion, Calgary Stampede promotion, and a run in WCW. An interesting note about Dave Shelton was the fact that he was considered to play the role of the Black Scorpion back in 1990 in WCW, but he didn't. Matt Hardy's home after his appendix surgery, and he's posting blogs on his MySpace talking about his recovery, and he is also saying that it's hard for him to watch WWE TV, but it's great to see his brother get a push. Natty Neidhart, she worked a dark match last week in Roanoke, Virginia at the SmackDown ECW tapings, where she put over Victoria. Vince McMahon, Ricky Steamboat, and John Laurinaitis were all very happy with her performance, and the crowd was into the match. And she's going to be over with the SmackDown crew and ECW crews this week while they do tours of Europe in Ireland, Germany, and Switzerland. TNA Wrestling will come out with a board game in the spring of 2008, made by the Canadian game company GDC. This board game, will allow you to make your own episodes of Impacts, pay-per-views, and your own gimmick matches, and hopefully you get to book the company a lot better than they did on Sunday night at Turning Point. Hopefully you get to book them like in 05, because that'd be sweet for you guys. Ring of Honor, they did not have their Trios tournament on the weekend on December the 1st, as it was scheduled, due to that major snowstorm that hit the eastern part of America and came through Canada on Monday. So, you know, hopefully they will be rescheduling it, and it'll be a good tournament. And finally, the current edition of Maxim magazine has a lengthy story on the final days of Chris Benoit, with comments from Rob Van Dam, Rick Steiner, Mark Marrow, and Dave Meltzer. The story is very well written, with only minor detailed mistakes, such as weekly television numbers for the WWE, the same numbers that they used on CNN, which is in the larger schemes of being trivial. No one from WWE commented in the story, but Maxim did note Ken Kennedy's attack on the media in the wake of the Benoit tragedy, and then popping up on the signature pharmacy list, as well as profiling a number of 10 performers that have died in the last 10 years. Well, anyways, that is going to be it for this week in the Squared Circle with the Dirty White Boy. I'll be back with you next week. I'll try and get a poll going here, maybe. What was your favorite match on favorite pay-per-view of the year for TNA? My personal vote would probably be Sacrifice, because they had a really good opener, that great Harris and Storm death match, and even though the finish to the Cage Sting and Angle triple threat was weak, it was a great way for them to get away from the NWA title. That or Slammiversary, because of the great, what's it called, King of the Mountain match, and it was a good card all around. But what's your favorite TNA pay-per-view of 2007? Anyway, guys, I'm out. Peace.